was almost Christmas, and Geppetto was frantically busy making toy soldiers and dolls. In fact, Santa himself had placed a big order because his elves were behind schedule. Each day, as Geppetto carved and glued and painted, he grew more rushed and weary. Meanwhile, Pinocchio, with the help of Jiminy Cricket, was getting the house ready for his first Christmas as a real boy. He and Jiminy had put up a tree, strung garlands of holly from the rafters, and even baked a plum pudding. "Jiminy, I want to find the perfect gift for Geppetto," said Pinocchio. "Will you help me?" "Well, if you ask me," Jiminy began, but Pinocchio was too excited to listen. He was already out the door and on his way to the shops. Jiminy caught up with him at the cutlery shop. "How about a new knife?" said Pinocchio. "I'll take the black one." Pinocchio pulled out his coins. The shopkeeper shook his head. "I'm sorry, son. The poorest of my wares cost 10 times what you have." Undaunted, Pinocchio dashed into another store. They shopped for socks, for gloves, for caps to keep Geppetto warm while he worked, a chest to keep his tools in, an armchair to relax in, but everything was too small, too big, or too expensive. Now it was Christmas Eve, and the shopkeepers were locking their doors. It was time to return home. "Well, I did have this idea," Jiminy replied with a sigh. "Really?" said Pinocchio. "Why didn't you say so before?" Jiminy sat Pinocchio at the kitchen table. "You want to give your father something he really needs." "I sure do," beamed Pinocchio. "More than anything I do." Jiminy handed Pinocchio a pen and paper. "Write what I tell you," he dictated. "Dear Geppetto, this will entitle you to an extra pair of hands, an extra pair of legs, and an extra willing heart. Your loving son, Pinocchio." But Jiminy, it's just a scrap of paper," said Pinocchio. "What sort of gift is that?" Jiminy took the note, put it in a box, and tied it with a red ribbon. "If you ask me, what the poor man really needs is help. All the work he has can't be done alone. Now let's get to the workshop." When Geppetto opened Pinocchio's gift, he was overjoyed. "Well now, I guess I could use a pair of hands." Pinocchio scurried about the workshop, sweeping up shavings, tending the fire, boxing and wrapping toys. He finally finished at midnight, and just in time, for at the stroke of 12 there came a thump on the roof, then a clatter that shook the whole house. Santa had come to pick up the bundle of gifts that Geppetto had made. At the window appeared the jolly old elf. "Phew," he said. "That was a close one, Geppetto. I can't thank you enough for helping out." "Never would have made it without the help of my son," said Geppetto. Santa took out his notebook. "I'll have to remember that." That night, as Pinocchio slept, the blue fairy appeared to him. "Santa sent me," she said, "because you've been so thoughtful. He wanted me to drop off one Christmas wish." "If you ask me," piped up Jiminy, who was perched on the headboard. "I have an idea," said Pinocchio. "I know exactly what I want. The perfect gift for Geppetto." The fairy smiled. "Very well, that's what we'll do." Geppetto awoke early that morning and went to light the Yule log. There, hanging from the Christmas tree, he found, oh no, it couldn't be, the puppet Pinocchio. "Pinocchio!" He fell back into his chair. "My dear Pinocchio!" Pinocchio and Jiminy came running from the bedroom. "What is it, father?" "My gift." "How did you ever make it?" Pinocchio turned toward the tree and saw the doll, a perfect copy of the puppet he used to be. "Puppet Pinocchio was my favorite toy," said Geppetto, "because I wanted him to be my son. Now I have both." A shadow crossed Pinocchio's face. "You mean you've missed the doll? Have I been a disappointment?" "You've been a perfect son in every way, Pinocchio, but you don't dance too well." Geppetto pulled the puppet from the tree and danced him wildly around the room. Stopping for breath, he added, "Because I'm a toy maker. No one has ever thought to give me a toy of my own to play with. Only you, Pinocchio, understood how much I love toys." Under the tree, there were a number of gifts for Pinocchio, brought by Santa, perhaps, or made by Geppetto. But the Blue Fairy had sent him the best gift of all, the smile on his father's face.